I wanted to walk you through the steps of creating a folder in your Google Drive, sharing that folder, and then creating a Google site. The Google site is going to serve as the portfolio for this class, so all the work that you do, any of the assignments that are in the course, are all going to end up on your portfolio. The reason for this is that down the road, when you're trying to remember some of the things that you learned, or you want to think back or use some of the ideas that you generated, all of those ideas and the work that you did will be available to you because it'll be in your Google Drive. It won't be something that you turned into us. So let's get started. You'll notice that I'm in my Chrome browser, and that's where you'll want to start as well. Anything in G Suite EDU or in Google Apps works a lot better if you're using Chrome as opposed to another browser such as Internet Explorer or Firefox. So start out by finding Chrome on your computer and open that up. As with a lot of things we're going to talk about in this course, there are lots of ways to do what I'm going to do right now. You can see that I have a shortcut to my Google Drive right here. You can also go up to your address bar and type in drive.google.com. You can also use what I call the waffle over here, and that's the way we'll do this. So I'll click on the waffle and then I'll click Drive. So you can see my Google Drive is loading. I'm going to come over here on the left to the New button. I'll click that, and then I'm going to choose Folder. So click New and then Folder. Once I'm there, I'm going to name my new folder, and I'm going to call this Going Google course, but you can call it anything that you want that makes sense to you. Once I've picked the name that I want, I'm going to click the blue button that says Create. Once I've created it, Google will show me where that folder went. And my next step is to share that folder. So all the things that you make in this course, anytime we ask you to make a Google Doc or a Google site or anything else, it's all going to go into this folder. So there's a couple of things we're going to want you to do right now. So first thing is to share this folder. We want other people in the course to be able to see it, and you want the person who is ultimately grading your work to be able to see it as well. So there are a couple of ways, as we talked about before, to do this. You can right-click this folder and click Share here. You can also go up to the top, see the plus person. That's also the Share option, and that's the one we'll use now. So you can see it says Share with Others, and you've probably used this before where you can type in someone's name. So if I were going to type in someone's name here, you can see I could select them here, and that would share edit access with them. Instead of doing it like that though, I'm going to come up here to the Click Shareable link. And the reason I'm going to do that is because you probably don't know a lot of the other people who are going to be taking this course. Someone might join it tomorrow, and there's no way for you to anticipate who that might be. This way, if we click copy the link and turn on sharing, that means anyone will be able to view this. So when you click this, you'll see that it says anyone in CCSD will be able to view what's in this folder. So that's what we want, and we'll click Done here. So that means that your Going Google course folder is shared. A couple of other things that you can do to make it easier to find this folder, and we'll talk about this in some of the modules as well. So if you right-click your folder, we talked about right-clicking it before, and if you're on a laptop with a touchpad, if you take two really far apart, spread apart fingers and click them at the same time, that will right-click for you. So once I right-click on this, I can go to Change Color, and I can pick another color for this folder. And I do this a lot of the time if I have a lot of folders and I'm trying to find one when I'm doing my work so that I don't have to hunt around. Another thing that I like to do, and again, we'll talk about this in the modules, is if I right-click this folder again and I click Add to Starred, that means that when I add a star to this, you'll see one pops up here, but I can go over here to my starred folder and it'll show me the things that I've starred. So instead of having to search around in my Google Drive, I can just click on Starred, and I know that this is my Going Google folder. This is the one I need to do my work for the virtual class. So at this point, you've opened your Google Drive, you've made a folder, you've shared it with people, and you may have changed the color or added it to the star. The last thing we're going to do is make a Google site. And the reason that we're making a Google site is because that's going to serve as your portfolio for this course. So let's get started on that. I'm going to double click into my Google Drive folder. So you can see I've opened up this Going Google course folder. And inside here, there's nothing so far. So I just made this folder. There's no files in it yet. I haven't put anything in it. So to get started, do you know what you think you might do? If you said click new, you were right. So I'm going to click new, and then I'm looking for Google Sites. So if you look down at the bottom, there's a section called More. So I'm going to go over on More, and I'm going to scroll down to Google Sites. It's a bluish sort of purple icon. You can see it's right here. So I'm going to click on that, and you can see Google is telling me that this is a shared folder, so other people are going to be able to see this. And I'm okay with that because this is Going Google work. So I'm going to click Create and Share. And it may have taken your Drive a minute or so to create the Google Sites. Sometimes they're a little slow to start up, but once it creates the Google site, you'll see it has a whole lot of stuff here. The first thing I want to do is come up to where it says Untitled Site, and I'm going to give this a name. So I'm going to call this Kendra Portfolio Going Google. So that way I know what it is and I know who it belongs to. As always, you can name that whatever you want, but this is a name that works well for me. If you click down below this, you'll see that it'll automatically bring that name down. If you don't want that to be the same name, you can change that if you want to, but otherwise you can leave it the same. So that is creating my portfolio for Going Google. My next step is to click Publish. So the way we're going to think about Google Sites is that there's two versions of it, and Google automatically saves both of them. So you see here it says all changes saved in Drive. That means everything I add onto here is going to automatically save in my Google Drive, which is great. I don't have to remember to save things. But when I'm talking about a Google site, so I can put all sorts of stuff on this web page, but until I click Publish, nobody sees it but me. And so it's important that you are publishing the things that you do because we want other people to see it. So you're going to share this link with the other people who are taking Going Google. We want them to be able to see what you're trying, what you're doing, what you're thinking about, that sort of stuff. So we're going to click Publish here, and that'll bring up this window. And this is where you assign it a web address. So I'm going to call this Kendra Portfolio. So you can see there's the little check mark over here means that that name is not taken and I can use it for mine. And then once I'm ready, I'm going to click Publish. There's two more things I want to show you about your portfolio site. The first one is what link you'll share with other people. But what you can do is come over here to this drop down and click View Publish Site. Once you click View Publish Site, this is what somebody else will see, and this is the link you want to share with people. So when we're asking you to share your portfolio in a discussion, this is the link we want you to share. So I'm going to copy this, and then to make it easy for me, I'm going to double click in this white area, and you can see that that brings up this little round thing. I'm going to click Text, and I'm going to paste that here. So that way I don't have to always do that drop down to try to get back to the site. I know that this is the web address right here. So this is the address that I use for other people to see the work that I'm doing. I know that I can always get back to my portfolio by going to that folder that we made. So if I click back on Starred, like we talked about before, there's my Going Google course folder. I'll double click on that, and then you can see here's my portfolio site. And if I double click this, it'll open up my portfolio in the edit view. So the edit view is the view for me. The public view is the view for other people to see. I hope that helps and that you're able to create your own Go in Google folder, share that folder, and then make your portfolio and publish that. The last thing I want to show you about Google Sites is over on this side, you can see there's an insert option. So if we're asking you to insert a Google Doc or a slide that you made, this is how you can do that. So you would click on Docs, for instance, and the Sites editor will show you all the things you've been working on recently. You can also search here. So there's lots of different options and it makes it relatively easy to add those files. The next thing I want to show you is the pages. So when I ask you to create a new page in your portfolio, you'll click on Pages here and then click the plus here so you can see how it turns into New Page. And this is where you'll add one. So I know one of the pages that you're initially going to add is a page about you. So you can either create a new page that says about me or something, or use this front page. So I could also turn my home page into about me. So here's where I'll write a little bit about myself, and I can write about what I'm hoping to get out of this course. Do you remember what the last thing you need to do is after you make any changes to your website, your portfolio? If you said publish it, that's exactly right. So you're going to want to click publish here, and that'll publish your website. Because remember, any changes you make on this edit version will save, but anyone looking at your public link, so if I click back on this home, remember I put the public link here. This is the one you'll share with people in discussions. You have to make sure that you click publish in order for those people to see it. I hope that helps. I know this was a quick overview of these two things, making folders and sharing them in Google Drive and building your own portfolio, but I think you've got it. Please feel free to comment in the Google Classroom if you need help, and if you can help someone else, please do it.